Hi, my dear Astro family. Today we are going to be looking at the astrology of March. Exciting month. We've got at least 7 sign changes going on, so I want to walk you through. We've got the eclipse season starting, and we've got some great aspects and not so great. So we're going to be covering all those in this video. Now, I've noticed that 60% of the viewers are actually not members of my family. So please press like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so that you can get all the videos I prepare for you. And then if you want to know how the week is playing out for you, then you can even sign up for my YouTube membership program, and then I'm going to be giving you extra 10 videos a month. So without any further ado, let's get started. So basically, we've got quite a heavy emphasis going on this month in the sign of Pisces, as well as in the sign of Aries. Now, the reason why, because we're going to have the eclipse season, so that highlights the Aries cusp in your chart. We're going to have Mercury moving into the sign of Aries. We're going to have the Sun moving into the sign of Aries. So you're going to get quite loads of highlight there. And then, of course, we've got still Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Venus will be there. Mars will be there. And also we've got Neptune. So we've got a stellium going on in the sign of Pisces. So, of course, Pisces is about letting go, while Aries is about starting fresh. So it looks like we all have the opportunity to start fresh and to deal with some of the past memories as well. But let's break it down. Now, before we do that, I'm going to be having a course coming up for you, which is going to be the house rulers in each houses. So this is going to be at least a 12-week course, and I'm going to teach you what it means to have, let's say, the 6th house ruler in the 8th house. You're going to get a very detailed description about it so you can become your own professional astrologer. If you are interested, check that out on my website, AstroViktor.Official. And it's going to be under the study section. So planets, the first one that is going to be changing sign is actually going to be Mercury. Mercury moving into the sign of Aries. That's going to be happening on the 9th or 10th of March. And this is a significant move, by the way, because Mercury will be spending here 2 months due to its retrograde period starting in April, and that's going to be happening on 19 degree. Sorry, it's going to be happening on the 19th, when it's going to be making a conjunction to the North Node, and the following day it's going to be making a conjunction with Chiron as well. And this is also the date when Mercury will enter its shadow zone. So this year, Mercury will be retrograding mainly in the fire signs. So you might want to be watching out where you can start fresh. Mercury in Aries is about quick thinking, speaking up, having kind of like some serious conversations with others as well, because we want to be able to grow. So this is a little bit of healing your communication style. It could talk to you about having to make quick decisions as well. It can indicate that your mind is going to be a lot more active, a lot more kind of like assertive. You are going to be, probably sometimes it's very easy to hurt someone with this combination as well, because what happens is that, you don't necessarily think, you are quite quick on your feet. And therefore, whatever you have got to say, you might want to scream about that, you might want to say that out loud to others. But of course, it can bring in such things as well that we're going to have an accident. So we need to be careful with this, because Mercury is something to do with not only communication, but at the same time, it is talking to us about travel opportunities as well. And what happens with travels, that it's going to become a lot faster. So basically, we can start driving faster, we become a little bit more reckless. The mind might not be resting as much as it's meant to be. So this is important. Before Mercury is going to be moving into the sign of Aries, it's going to be making a conjunction with Neptune. But I chose that one as the aspect of the week, so you are going to be receiving a complete video on that. Now, what's also very interesting is that while Mercury moves into the sign of Aries, and it's going to be on 0 degree, it's going to be happening on the Pisces new moon. So that's going to be the very first lunation what we have. And a new moon is always about new beginnings, spiritual practices, and it represents something to do with creativity in the sign of Pisces. So we're going to have to focus a little bit more on our dreams and unconditional love. But because it co-presents Saturn, it would be extremely important that you don't just dream around, but you are going to be manifesting those as well. Now, this new moon is receiving a sextile from Uranus. It's quite a tight one. Sextile is a 60-degree aspect. It's meant to be harmonious, and it talks to us about certain type of opportunities. What Uranus does, it energizes and speed things up. Uranus is about creative self-expression. So again, it aligns with that intuitive hit or tapping into your authentic self a little bit more. And then if we have got that ability to think about growth, for example, because Pisces can represent growth as well, especially the soul growth, being part of a community, maybe a spiritual group and all those type of things, then this could be very, very brilliant. We've got a loose conjunction to Neptune as well, which gives us a little bit more of a dreamy quality. So we want to be kind of like focusing a little bit more on, resting and switching off the brain and wanting to be on holiday. We might a little bit like hesitant whether I want to start fresh or not. So just watch out. Now, if you would like to learn a little bit more about the 12th house and how the 12th house might play out in your own life, then I'm going to be having a full course on that. So you might want to be signing up. I will be looking at the 12th house rulers. I will be looking at all the signs on your 12th house cusp and all the planets in the 12th house as well. So you can actually read your 12th house completely. Also, we've got the Saturn on the other side of these luminaries, which is 9 degrees apart. So I wouldn't necessarily call it as a conjunction. But very interesting that the Sun and Moon conjunction is happening on the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune. And in a couple of years' time, we're going to have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening. So I feel like this is giving us a peek into what to expect from the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. And Saturn is about your long-term goals. So with Neptune, we dream about it. With Saturn, we make it happen. And it tells you also that there is no time to waste. Pisces as in waste, and Saturn, there is no time to waste. So this is telling us to set goals, to accomplish them, to be more responsible for your own action and life. If you have got a goal, be disciplined about it, grow up to the task, even if it looks difficult, and it's going to be playing out extremely well for you. Brilliant. So this is one of the planetary move, and I wanted to combine that with the lunation because I feel like this is important. So Mercury will be extremely busy this month. It's going to be meeting the North Node, of course, 3 times, and whatever North Node touches, it magnifies that. So the magnification quality is that you are overthinking, you travel a lot more than usual, or you are commuting, or you are kind of communicating a lot more with others without any type of thinking. It's kind of like wanting to scream on top of your lungs. It's about being more expressive. Probably there's the desire to discuss things with others, or you're going to initiate something because Aries likes initiating. It likes starting fresh as well. And then you might notice that you're going to start talking a lot faster as well. Now, the next planet on the move is going to be a couple of days later, and Venus is going to be moving into the sign of Pisces. It's going to be happening on the 11th or the 12th of March, depending on where you are located. Now, this is a brilliant position for Venus, by the way, because Venus is going to be in its exaltation. An exaltation One way how you can work with exalted planets is that they can bring you kind of like extreme success, for example, quite quickly. So it heightens something, it makes things extreme. So you can become extremely sensitive or you can become extremely creative as well at the same time. When Venus goes through the sign of Pisces, this is about unification. So we become a little bit softer, we become a little bit kind of like more connected with what we like, and we also want to be connecting to others as well. So it's very easy to fall in love with. Typically, it's kind of like the pink clouds are roaming around our head pretty much. So it's a little bit of a rainbow type of love, I would call. It's about forgiveness and embracing people the way they are. It's about forgiving someone, being more understanding, being able to place yourself in their shoes. But also Venus in Pisces could be quite seductive as well. So they kind of approach people with kindness and sweetness, and then it's pretty easy to make someone fall in love with you. So this is a brilliant one. If we want to be connecting, or if we want to be somehow soothing a situation out in your life, then actually Venus can do that. Negative side of that would be that we are a little bit deluded, and of course we can fall into a trap. And it can make you a little bit upset once you wake up, once a reality hits you. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because Venus will be running into Saturn. So at the beginning of it, it's very easy to kind of fall in love without knowing the details. Remember that Mercury is in the sign of Aries as well. So we are making a quick decision about something. And then when Venus runs into Saturn, all of a sudden reality kicks in and we feel like a victim. Okay, then the next planet on the move is going to be Sun moving into the sign of Aries, which is a seasonal change. So that would be the official start of spring or autumn, depending on what part of the world you are at. And spring is about blossoming. Obviously, the flowers start to kind of grow and everything kind of lights up in beautiful colors. So this is about initiation. This is a cardinal sign as well. So it's about action, to a certain extent, optimism as well. It's brilliant to start something new. So we've got a new season, we plant the seed with that, and then we're expecting them to unfold somehow. So this is going to be another exaltation position of a planet. So Sun loves being in the sign of Aries. So again, remember, exaltations are about heightened energies. Those areas in your life can be extreme, or you can somehow make them a lot better than they are at the moment. So if that's something you want to be doing, then this could be a brilliant time for you. Now, of course, we're going to be having the eclipses coming up. So what is an eclipse? Eclipse is when the nodes are within about 18 degrees or closer to the north node or the south node. Now we're going to be having the first lunar eclipse, which is going to be happening on 25th of March. It's going to be happening on 5-degree Aries. And then we are going to be having the solar eclipse happening on 8th of April, 19-degree of Aries. But I'm going to be talking about that anyway in my next month video. So this lunar eclipse on 5-degree of Libra. So this is about connections. This is about relationship or contractual agreements. This could talk to you about the need to kind of soothe a situation out in your life, because remember that the dispositor Venus is in the sign of Pisces. right? So it's about understanding people in our life. It's about understanding partners in our life, whether it is a business partner or it's going to be the love of your life and so forth. It doesn't necessarily matter. It is asking us to connect on a soul level, to connect on a physical level, as well as on an emotional level as well. So this is going to be a very important message to you. This eclipse, by the way, is getting a trine from Pluto. So this could also indicate that you can turn your relationship around if you want to. You can actually connect with more powerful people also, if that's what you want. And maybe it's about scratching your back, and then I can be scratching yours as well. So it's kind of like a little bit of a mutual understanding or mutual benefits from having these powerful connections. The lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra, as I said, marks the beginning of the eclipse season. So when there are eclipses, usually it's a little bit more dramatic. It can be a little bit more unpredictable. It can come with twists and turns as well. But it is about aligning you with your life path, sorry, not path. Ancient people were pretty afraid of eclipses because it looked like the sun was eaten away or the moon was eaten away. So, of course, it's quite scary. So back in the days, they kind of just remained rested and they didn't do much until kind of like the sun or the moon popped back onto the sky. So, of course, nowadays we know that this is an astronomical phenomenon, right? So we don't necessarily need to be so afraid of it. But I would say that's still important to remember that the body is a little bit weaker around these couple of days. So just you need to remember that. But of course, as usual, I will be making a more detailed video about this because of course, we want to break that down for you. You know, that beautiful Pluto trine from 1 degree of Aquarius, it's also telling us to deep dive into our relationship patterns, the relationship dynamics, and then transform them for the better. It can help you to create one-on-one connections with others. It can actually tell you that, you know what, if there are issues, we are meant to be looking into the mirror because we need two to tango. We need both of us to transform the relationship. One person is not necessarily enough for that. So this is about me versus you, or are we doing it together? And that would be the most important part of this. Okay, then other interesting move, what we've got this month is Pallas Athene is turning retrograde, and that is happening on the 29th of March. So Pallas Athene is turning retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, and Pallas Athene is the warrior princess. Pallas Athene is about wisdom and coming up with some type of strategies. So this is a reminder to look at your futuristic goals. Retrograde is about revisiting a topic. So you might have had some type of goals and imagination about how the future should be. And then Pallas Athene is inviting you to gain a little bit more wisdom. Also, Pallas Athene, as I said, is a warrior princess. So she is a defender. She prepares for kind of like a war. And then in the sign of Sagittarius, this would talk to you about an intellectual approach to it. So we don't necessarily need to go into a war if not needed. Let's just have those conversations. Let's listen. Let's talk. Did that work for you the last 5 months, or did that not necessarily work for you the last 5 months. That could be also another topic that you might want to explore here. Also, Palasatini represents creative intelligence as well. So you can become a lot more creative when it comes to your studies, your spiritual growth, or also just wanting to look at the meaning of life. So this is also an exciting retrogression, in my opinion. Then straight after, next day, Vesta goes back into the sign of Cancer. And Vesta is about focus. So we might start focusing a little bit more on our family, home life, as well as your own country. Vesta is a spiritual mission. What we've got, often it represents something to do with vocational matters in our chart as well. So this could talk to us about that you are a little bit more emotional about the work you do. You can have heightened intuition. You are more compassionate towards people. You are actually focusing on people that are in need, or they need a little bit more love from you as well. So you can become a little bit more sentimental. You might go down on a memory lane, and watch out, because the negative manifestation of that is a little bit of a suffocating type of mom archetype. So Vesta in Cancer, is a very nurturing sign, and we focus way too much on the nurturing. And not everyone needs that. Not everyone wants it. And we need to realize when we don't want that. So this is kind of like an ultimate caregiver type of position. And the Vesta will be here for the next 3 months. So this could be a little bit more heightened part of your chart as well. Okay, I think we've got one more planetary move. Yes, I forgot to mention 2 of them actually. 22nd of March, Mars is actually entering the sign of Pisces. So, many people are a little bit reluctant about Mars in Pisces, but I always imagine Mars as the athlete, and Pisces is kind of like the swimmer. And if Mars is very good in the short run, kind of like sprints and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a little bit training for the marathon, swimming long distances. So this Mars can actually get a little bit stronger. Sorry, I'm moving around a little bit more today because I'm slightly bit in pain. So that's the reason why I'm moving around a little bit more. Sorry about that. So, but this Mars becomes a little bit more empathetic. It's fighting for the right cause. It is compassionate. It might be standing up for people who are in need. This Mars doesn't just use strategies anymore, but it starts blending the strategies with a little bit more intuition as well. So I'm not always very baffled about having Mars in the sign of Pisces. Now, by transit, Mars is actually activating the Piscean cusp also in your chart. So Mars is encouraging you to feel. It is encouraging you to put yourself into the shoe of others. It is telling you to understand others rather than having an argument with someone. Let's just kind of calm down. That's what the water does to us, right? It calms us down, and it is telling us to actually sometimes withdraw ourselves as well before we make a decision. Maybe it is actually asking us to listen to our intuition a little bit more. Some of the good ones is that we become more gentle, sympathetic, maybe idealist as well. Negatively, this Mars can get really overwhelmed, elusive, and submissive as well. And submission is not necessarily something that Mars would like to be. Also, Mars can become quite victimized as well. So if someone who has got some self-worth issues and so forth, then this Mars wants you to go through a spiritual development so you can get stronger. One of the reasons why I decided to go back to Thailand while Mars is in the sign of Pisces to do a sport camp is because it's going to be happening in my first house. So I feel like it's a very good time to actually activate the body and to make the most out of my Mars. And Mars will be running into Saturn as well. And then if we are committed, then this could bring us great results as well. And the last sign change, what we've got this month is Hygeia, which is the asteroid of prevention, and it's a medical asteroid. It's going to be moving also into the sign of Aries. So on a world scale, this could talk to us about how to prevent any type of anger. It is focusing a little bit more on the physical health and vitality. It is about encouraging you to start taking care of yourself a little bit more. It wants you to have more energy. It wants you to have a little bit more competitive spirit. And you might want to be channeling anything into sport or any type of physical activities. This is a reminder that physical activity actually boosts not only your ego, as well as your strength, but also it helps significantly on a mental level as well. This is also about taking risks, pushing yourself very hard, and therefore we do need to be watching out for injuries or burning out, especially when Mars is going to be running into the sign of when it's going to be running into Saturn, because of course it could indicate that, you know what, you are fed up, you have no strength anymore. And yes, you do need to remember that resting a little bit is going to be very, very important. Hygeia could talk to us about self-care as well, so it might become a lot more important for you. For example, you want to apply some, I don't know, anti-aging cream on your face, for example, and then you don't see the results and you might be giving up on it. So this is telling you that it might take a good 3 months actually to start seeing the results as well. If you are struggling with self-care, then this could talk to you about things as in the importance of doing so, but also it would talk to you about not just taking care of your physical health, but something to do with your emotional health as well. So these are the planets on the move, and I spoke to you about the upcoming 2 lunation as well. So maybe I want to mention a couple of very positive dates as well, because it might be helping you with your decision-making process. The best aspect of the month, in my opinion, is going to be Venus sextile Jupiter, which is going to be happening on the 24th or the 25th of March, depending on where you are. And the reason why it's quite important as well, because the upcoming lunation is ruled by Venus. And this sextile is actually happening quite close to the lunar eclipse as well. So therefore, Venus and Jupiter sextile is giving you the opportunity to be loved. Venus is on 15 degree of Pisces this time around, while Jupiter is going to be on 15 degree of Taurus. So of course, the dispositor of Jupiter is Venus, which is exalted. So this can give us financial opportunities. This could be great for contractual agreements as well. This could be brilliant if you want to find someone, a partner. This can give you the opportunity to invest into something as well. Maybe investing into your own beauty, investing into your own self-love and self-care. This could be a day when you buy something for yourself, rewarding yourself. Venus has just come out of a conjunction with Saturn. So I don't feel like it's an extremely hard conjunction this time around, because it was making a sextile to Jupiter. So this is pretty much a little bit more realistic, being faithful about ourselves, our love stories, even though if we run into some type of challenges, we know that we can actually we can overcome them. And maybe you ran into some type of challenges with Saturn, but now this time around, you are going to be finding a solution for that. And one of the most difficult aspects is, I think, the Mercury-Neptune conjunction. I did make a very detailed video about that. It's going to be posted on Sunday. And the other one I wanted to talk about briefly is actually the Jupiter-Neptune semi-square. This is a minor aspect, okay? So this is a 45-degree aspect. It's happening on 11-degree Taurus to 26-degree Pisces. We are going to be, I mean, we already started feeling this last year, once in June, and then we started feeling it in the middle of December as well. And then now we are starting to feel it from 1st of March again. And this is going to be the last semi-square these two are making. Now, why is this important? The reason why it's important is because we had a conjunction between them two, and it was happening in the sign of Pisces, if you remember, around 23 of Pisces. So that was a start of a new cycle approximately 1.5 years ago. And they have got these phases, just like the moon phases. So Jupiter and Neptune got to their very first phase. And this is a little bit more of the testing period. Probably you're gonna feel it till the middle, actually till the end of March with this Jupiter and Neptune semi-square. So this could talk to you about learning about your own fears, studying something. Maybe you wanna be studying spirituality. Maybe you want to teach some type of spiritual topics for others. Then this semi-square is inviting you to look at your plan a little bit more in details. If you are spiritual, then doing some spiritual practices could be brilliant. If you are religious, then doing some religious practices would be also great. So some praying and so forth. But most importantly, this is about an access to be able to download information from the cosmic womb. So this could heighten your intuition, for example. You can get a lot more creative, a lot more inspired, a lot more kind of sensitive to any of the spiritual information. And one of the best ways you can work with this is, as I said, spirituality or some in forms of artistry. Now, there are some negative side to this as well, because remember that Jupiter expands whatever it touches in a good and bad way as well. So if we have got drinking problems, we're going to start drinking more. If we've got smoking problems, we're going to do that more, because Neptune is connected to addiction, substances, escapism, wanting to run away from something. We could be just kind of searching to meaning to life, but kind of half sleepy. So we're wondering about lack of focus, lack of strength, being a martyr, complaining a little bit more as well. And then it can make you extremely confused or kind of like wearing a veil and then not seeing what you meant to see. And it leads to some disappointment. So some of the questions you might want to be asking yourself is what you see is true or not. Shall I believe this or not? Is it something that I want to get sucked into? Is this situation right for me? And so forth. So guys, this is my monthly forecast for you. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please follow the channel by subscribing, joining my YouTube membership program, as well as pressing the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Have a great one, everyone, and I will see you again next week. Bye.